Welcome to the Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Ken Rideout, joined as always by the great Teddy Atlas. Coming to you tonight from Philadelphia. We're watching the Tyson Fury, Otto Wallin, or Wallin, depending on how you pronounce it, fight from Vegas. Teddy, you're fresh off the plane from Vegas, press conference for Alex Gvodyk against Otto Wallin. How was the flight?
It was good. I'm tired. A little tired, but wanted to do this for our fans out there that are so loyal to us with the show. The good people out there, you guys, wanted to get this done, and hopefully it'll be well received. It's a heavyweight fight. It's a heavyweight title fight, lineal title. And I wanted to show a little love to, our fans and our friends over there across the pond. Here it is, baby. I love you guys, right? Always thinking about you. Really.
And thank you for the special shirt. This might be a first on the show where we actually have a T-shirt of a fight that hasn't even happened yet. You've got a lot of old classics, and now we're actually ahead of the curve today.
Yes, we are.
So thank you for this.
My pleasure. You're looking good.
And like I said, fresh off basically 48-hour trip out to Vegas for a quick press conference.
Hopefully it serves some purpose. I don't believe in it, to be quite frank. I said that at the press conference when I was talking to the good scribes out there. But disturbing a camp for a world title fight, for any fight, all fights are important. But for a world title fight of this magnitude, to disturb a camp, both camps, not just us, and to fly across the country for a couple words, call me old-fashioned, call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm of the belief that you can do that in a teleconference. You could do that, Skyping. There is something called Skyping, I was told. You can, you don't have to disrupt the camp in the middle of a camp and go across the country. But we did as we were asked to do, and we'll be back to work Monday.
Yep. And eventually we're going to do a special episode talking about the camp and what goes into it, because it's a lot different than I anticipated, and I think it's a lot different than most people would expect. And we'll do an in-depth description of what's going on here. Maybe we'll include Alex in the conversation.
Yeah, sure. He was going to be tonight, but I sent him to bed.
Yeah.
He's such a great person, but he was ready to be on with us, but he was tired and said, go to bed. That's obviously more important.
Yep. And there's basically four of us in camp. It's myself, Teddy, Alex, and Chris Camacho, strength and conditioning coach / nutritionist and chef. And it's a close-knit group, and I think people will enjoy hearing about some of the exploits that go on at camp and some of the highs and lows. It's definitely a lot of interesting ongoings, to say the least. But speaking of Skype, I got a call this morning from friend of the show, and the first and only Skype interview we've ever done. That's Dustin Poirier, fresh off his fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov in Abu Dhabi recently. Unfortunately, Dustin suffered a defeat there, but hell of a fight, and he sends his best regards to you, Teddy, and we're looking forward to seeing him in person in the next couple of months.
Yeah, he's a special person, champion in and out of the ring. He lost to a guy who was a great MMA fighter, undefeated fighter, becoming a legendary type guy, beat Conor McGregor too. And, but he had his moments.
Yeah.
He had his moments there. He had a moment striking where he caught him, he staggered him a little bit, and then when he had him in the chokehold.
Yep.
But just wasn't able to get it done with Khabib, who was tremendous. But behaved like a champion and lost, with the class that both of them did.
Yeah.
But put everything out there. It was very hot there. Very, very, to me it was almost irresponsible if the reports are actually accurate that it was as hot as we were told it was in that arena, that the air conditioning went out, over in the desert over there. It was pretty harsh to be. It's harsh enough to get into that ring or in that octagon, but to get in there when they're talking about 100 degrees in the arena. Again, I don't know for a fact. I just know what was reported. That's pretty insane. But it was hot for both guys. Khabib didn't have an air conditioning in his corner.
That's right.
And if there was a definition if I had a dictionary that had a definition of fighter, for me, the definition probably wouldn't be what Webster's is. It would probably be someone who overcomes. Mm-hmm. And, they both had to overcome whatever was in front of them. Khabib did. But again, I'll say that Dustin, I'm proud to know him. I'm proud to be friendly with him. I'm proud to know the kind of person he is. As a champion, as I said, in and out of the ring. He behaved like a champion winning the title, and in losing the title to a tremendous champion, he behaved like a champion.
Yep. And we're hoping to see him at the fight in Philly on October 18th. He says he's going to make an effort to get here, so hopefully he can make it. But, great effort by both guys. And so tonight we got Tyson Fury and Otto Wallin. We've discussed this fight in the past, specifically because some of Otto Wallin's opponents were less than stellar, to say the least, in some of his knockout victories. I'd say highly questionable, but that would be an understatement since one guy went down from a phantom punch. So not to take anything away from Otto Wallin, but his opponents haven't been that great. I do think he's going to bring more than Schwartz, but what should we look for specifically tonight?
Well, he's a southpaw, so maybe that buys him some rounds early. Takes a little time to figure out a southpaw. Although you could say, hey, Teddy, wasn't he figuring him out in training camp, having lefties in front of him? With someone like Fury, he's so unconventional, who knows what he was boxing in training. He might not have had southpaws. But, I'm half kidding there. But Fury, maybe it buys him some rounds, Wallin, where it does take a minute to figure out the southpaw style. I think that, as you said, I believe that Wallin will be a better opponent than Schwartz was, but that's kind of like saying that a poodle is bigger than a chihuahua. I mean, what does it mean? At the end of the day, we'll find out what it means. But I definitely think that Wallin will present more of a challenge, and the southpaw style, and he had a decent amateur record background. I think the right hand will play in. I think it's going to come down to, and this is pretty simplistic, but I think it'll come down to when and where Fury lands the right hand, the southpaw killer, that can do damage to southpaws, to lefties. When he lands that right hand, what happens? I mean, it really might come down that simple. Does Wallin have a chin to withstand that right hand? Now, maybe in the best of worlds for Wallin's people, maybe he doesn't land that right hand. Maybe Joey Gamash's trainer, who I think a lot of. I think that's one of the reasons why I give Wallin a better shot than Schwartz, is because of the level of trainer that he's got in the corner. The Joey Gamash is a guy that does more than 90% of the trainers do, quite frankly, in the business. He teaches. He doesn't just put a towel on his shoulder and say, go do 5 over there, 4 over there, 3 over there, see you later, let me have a cup of coffee. He does more than that. So I think that will bode well for him, or better for him, help him. It's a plus. But at the end of the day, it will come down to when Fury lands the right hand. And again, as far as Gamash is concerned, he ain't going to land it. They've worked on the gym to avoid the right hand. But if he lands the right hand, what happens? If he survives it, then maybe we get more than we expected to get. And then, of course, that's going to come down. Connected with that would be the jab, because the jab is the delivery system for the right hand. So, and that's the main weapon for the big guy, Fury. So if he can land the jab, it won't be long before he lands the right hand. So it starts with the jab. Wallin's got to control range, control distance, make sure that he's not really getting caught by that jab, because it won't be long till the right hand finally finds the place. Like I say, the jab is what sets the table. The right hand, you go and eat. So I think it may be that simple. But the over-under, I believe, is 7.5, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think it's like depending on where you go, minus 180 for the under. So most people think it's going to be under 7.5. I'm not going full out here with this, and this is before the fight, of course. So obviously, you got to say before, otherwise, I'd have a hell of a.
As we're talking right now,
I'd have a hell of a record. Yeah, as we're talking,
they're making their way into the ring.
So we are telling the truth here. We try to do that. I think there's a chance it'll go more towards the over, possibly. And again, the under is the favorite bet. You got to lay 180 if you're going to go with under 7.5. I think there's a chance it could maybe go some more rounds. But again, it's going to be a matter of when that right hand lands. Does Wallin handle it?
Yeah, and he's Fury is a minus 2,100 favorite to a plus 900 for Wallin. So it'll be, bookmakers have it as a one-sided, stoppage, according to the lines. Will be interesting to see if in fact he does get through Wallin here, if we get to see that Wilder rematch in the next fight. I mean, with heavyweights, one punch could change the whole landscape, a la Andy Ruiz Jr. And I'm hoping that we get that Wilder fight before either one of them has a misstep along the way.
I think that the people at ESPN that put up $100 million hope so too. I
would think so.
They didn't put up all that money for these kind of fights, quite frankly, and because you're not going to draw subscribers. I mean, the reason they did it is to draw subscribers to the app.
Yeah,
that's why it's on the app. It's not on ESPN regular. It's on the app. Same as the Zone is the app, and it's on ESPN Plus. And again, the people that made that decision to put that money when Top Rank asked them to bring Fury aboard was that it would bring traffic to the app. Those numbers, from what I understand, haven't been quite what they want them to be, and it's going to be. Well, then, people are not just going to jump for heavyweight unless, if it was Mike Tyson, no matter who he was fighting, you didn't know what you were going to get. You're going to get knocked out something crazy, especially later on, something crazy. And with Tyson, of course, Tyson Fury, there's no doubt that there's also the entertainment value. But that only goes so far. People want to be entertained and stuff. They'll put on a comedy show. There's a lot of outlets.
Well, some people would argue these opponents have made it a bit of a comedy show.
It's true. It's a good way of putting it. But there's a lot of outlets to be entertained. At this point, the reason I was bringing up Mike Tyson was because, there was some kind of intrigue and mystique about him that, he was destroying guys, and no matter who he was fighting, you want to see how he was going to knock a guy out. But with Fury, it's a little bit of it's a different situation. He's not a seek and destroy guy. Listen, he destroyed his last opponent, but it was more the lack of quality of the opponent than anything else. I'll still say it right now. He could score a one-round knockout, but I stand by what I'm saying. Tyson Fury has the mentality of a welterweight. His mentality is, and I'm not knocking him. This is not in any way demeaning. He's smart. He's got a good IQ. He's got good skill sets. He's got good fundamentals. He likes to jab. He likes to use his legs. He's the best technical heavyweight in the world right now. The best. There's nobody better than him. Usyk would be the guy closest to him. Who's coming up from cruiserweight.
That's an interesting observation, because that's the one fight that I think for Usyk. I think Usyk is gonna move up quickly in heavyweights and beat a lot of guys. But that's the question mark for me, is how does he do against a guy who's 6'9", 250 plus pounds? That is a big person.
Oh, you're right. He's gonna have to get a couple under his belt to acclimate, so to speak. But again, Tyson Fury, for me, it's not just when you evaluate a fighter, it's not just about the talent they have. It's about the mentality. the temperament. You know, you could have a guy that is the biggest banger since Ernie Shavers. But if his mentality is to be conservative, to be careful, to be cute, to be tricky, well, all that power in the world, it's not going to be used in a way that just looking at his physicality, his physical assets, would lend itself to think it's going to be used, where he's just going to go out there, he's going to drop an H-bomb on a guy. No, if his mentality is to set traps, if his mentality is to be careful, to be defensive-minded, more towards a Mayweather-type mentality, then you're not gonna see that kind of action or those kind of results on a regular basis. So no matter what the physical assets are, it's the mentality. So this guy's 6'9", so everybody expects what you would expect from a 6'9", behemoth. But in reality, he's David in Goliath's body. He's the mentality of David.
Yeah.
And, he's going to blow out some guys that are there to be blown out. But on the whole, if you leave him to his devices, you leave him to his temperament. His temperament is, and again, it's a positive. He's going to be smart. He's going to be thoughtful. He's going to be thinking. He's going to be setting things up. It's not going to be, to go out there and execute a guy. So tonight, that's the curiosity. I mean, this guy's 25-1 underdog?
Yeah, 21
to 1. For me, is to see if Fury falls back, if this guy if Wallin can get through the early rounds, if you see the mentality, the temperament dominate more than the physicality of Fury, where it takes him back to where really to what it's about for him, which is being a welterweight in a certain aspect of it, in a heavyweight's body.
Yeah.
That's how he beat Klitschko. And look, he's not fighting guys like Klitschko, so he can go in there. It's kind of like we used to make jokes years ago when you had the right opponent. Hey, what do you want to be tonight? Joe Louis? Want to be Marciano? You want to be Ali tonight?
Yeah.
What do you feel like being tonight? So it may come down to that too. But at the end of the day, you are attached to what really the core and the soul of you really is. And for me, the temperament of Fury is to look to box.
Yeah. One thing that will be interesting to see is while Wallin, and we talked about one of his knockouts in particular.
I'm going to jump for 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
Just while they're warming up here, they're getting ready to be announced.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to tell anyone where I'm jumping to.
Well, one thing that I was going to point out is that there's not a huge body of work for Wallin for us to make any observations on. I mean, the few videos that we've seen of him have been against less than impressive opposition. But that's not to say he doesn't come out tonight and box Fury's ears off. There's a lot of unknown with the guy because of the lack of visibility he's had. So although his opponents haven't been great, I'll be curious to see how he does against someone who has fought a who's who in the heavyweight division. So fighters are in the ring, round 1, about to kick off here. Tyson Fury, per usual, comes in with much fanfare. Came in with the Mexican theme, really playing up the Mexican Independence Day angle. So round 1 underway. A little bit of a feeling out process. You can see right away the difference in size is massive. I mean, they talked about Fury's weight being the lightest it's ever been, but my God, he still looks like a gigantic person.
Well, they're not saying the lightest it's ever been, are they?
Oh, lightest since 2015, maybe? Yeah. I think he was lighter maybe when he was 12.
Yeah, really.
He is a huge guy, man.
But do you see the temperament? It's early.
Yep.
It's early. But I'm seeing his temperament of that lightweight, that welterweight already, where, he's not using his bulk. He's using the jab. He's controlling range. He's stepping out. He's actually looking to set traps. Again, he's not this behemoth. He's not Goliath going after David.
Yeah. He's using a lot of feints too. You see that?
Yeah, but he's being slick. He's being careful. He's being smart. But again, it belies what you would expect from a guy so big.
Yeah.
I just hope it lasts longer than the time it took me to go to the men's room.
Well, Wallin looks like he's there for action. I mean, he's coming.
No, he
forward.
is. And this style of Fury is boding well to allow Wallin to get what he needs most for a guy who's never been on this stage.
Yep.
Confidence.
Yep.
Few rounds under his belt.
Yep. No, that's a good point.
And again, I see the handiwork a little bit of Joey Gamache, a real trainer, where Wallin, is well prepared for this fight. The only thing I'm worried about is very early is the uppercut from Fury, because Wallin's shorter. I mean, most people are shorter. They're fighting someone 6'9".
Yeah.
But I can see when he comes in sometimes that he could be there for the uppercut, the right uppercut of Fury.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he wants to press the action. He's got Fury going backwards, but Fury seems like you said, he's slick, using the jab, feinting.
Again, I mean, when this shows, people are going to have already known what's happened. Mm-hmm. And they can watch it again with our audio if they want, or they can just think about what we are saying and said during the course of the fight and what they were thinking when they were watching the fight. And for me, the key, that's the end of the first round, is that the mentality of, and I'm going to do a little quick Twitter right here.
So round 1 in the books. What did you see there?
Yeah, well, I tell you, I give that first round to Wallin, so that's an upset already. I give that to him. He took the action to Fury. But like I said, Fury, the big guy, he's showing me again that he's David in Goliath's body. His mentality is a welterweight. It's to box. It's to lay back. He laid back. He boxed. But the aggression of Wallin got him the first round.
Very good. Be interesting to see what adjustments are made in between rounds. Like you said, I'm a big fan of Joey Gamache, and we'll see what kind of adjustments he makes on the fly here.
One thing I'd say is in the team of Wallin is an attorney. He co-manages him, David Berlin.
He is?
Yeah, he's a co-manager.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
And he's one of the counsel, one of the lawyers for my charity foundation, the Dr. Atlas Foundation. We have 3 lawyers that represent the foundation: Keith Sullivan, David Berlin, and Nicole Atlas Fazio.
Esquire.
Yes. So they, of course, take care of the foundation pro bono. But David's a good man. He's been my friend for a long time, and he is one of the co-managers of Wallin. So in that way, full disclosure, I would be rooting for, I'm not here rooting for anyone, but I would love to see David involved in it would be a monumental upset.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I like Fury. I like his story. I like the hope that he gives people that have lost hope. Mm-hmm. And that you can come back. You can be on the edge, the brink of the cliff, so to speak, like he was thinking about taking his own life. Mm-hmm. And you can come back and find a reason to live again.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's what represented that was the Wilder fight. I mean, he's laying down there. It's almost like he thought about what he went through, and he said, no, I want to live again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up. And for me, the story to you people, to everybody out there, to all of us, is there's always time to get up. There's always time to get up. And right now, Wallin is taking it to Fury. He's pressing the action. I gave him the first round just with the aggression. And he's doing something that I would have put on my list of things to do that nobody has mentioned. And that's to go to the body. Mm-hmm. Because you got a big guy who's tall, so you're just thinking about reaching his head. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of body there to find.
Yeah.
So why not find some of the body? And it looks like Gamache has put that into the game plan for Wallin to go to the body, and he has. He's been banging,
He's working the
He's
body
been
now.
banging that body pretty good. And you know the old saying, you kill the body and the head will follow. So that's one of those old sayings. You chop the tree down, you go downstairs. But I like the idea of going, again, there's a lot of target there with the body, and I like the idea that Wallin is taking that approach, and he's definitely not intimidated.
No, definitely not. He's staying very busy. I'd be curious to see how his stamina lasts. He's throwing a lot of punches.
And again, the mentality of Fury, it's not to, take that huge body and force it into the equation. It's to stay outside, control range, control distance, And
Fury caught him with a counter there.
Who you like that round?
That one was a close. I mean,
Well, that's the end of the second round.
I'd almost give that round a draw. I probably had Otto winning it, but he got caught with that big shot at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna give, the round to Wallin. I'm gonna have a 2-0 Wallin after 2 rounds. And again, the mentality of Fury is to box, and right now that's leaving a little door open for Wallin to come in there, press the fight, be aggressive, and steal some rounds. For me, Wallin 2-0 and go to the body, that big body of Mr. Fury.
That appears to be the game plan. I'll tell you, the one thing that's exciting about heavyweights, though, is there's very little room for error. You make one mistake and get caught by this guy, by any of these guys in this division, and it could be lights out.
Yeah. See, again, I see the fight plan, the game plan. I think it's been good. I mean, take advantage of the mentality. Know your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick, one of the great things about he knows what he's facing. His guys know what they're facing every Sunday. Or Monday. So, that the guy's a defensive minded, so you could steal some early rounds.
Yeah.
Steal them. Mm-hmm. Steal them with the jab, steal them with some pressure. And again, it's a long, tall body. Well, attack some of that body. Right now, you see the aggression again of Wallin, and you see the boxing. There's that uppercut. It just missed. To me, that could be a key punch, is that uppercut as Wallin comes in, the uppercut from Fury.
Fury's just missed on some big winging shots. He loves that feint.
We're going to ask my man, Chris. Chris, who do you like in the first 2 rounds? You agree with me? Yeah.
I do agree.
All right.
But it ain't going to last long.
All right. Chris is agreeing with me and saying, but Teddy ain't going to last too long.
Yeah, I think Fury has landed a few big shots, and man, he just looks so much bigger than.
I'll say this though: there's a lot of energy being put out there for Wallin to get a lead here. He's spending a lot of petrol.
Yep.
He's working a lot harder than Fury has to work right now. He's throwing a lot of punches, not of them all landing, but he's got a high work rate going on. That engine is burning.
Oh, for sure.
To be ahead, and how that's going to affect him as the rounds go on may be a key part of this fight.
Yeah, I think also experience going to come into it and play into this fight as well. With Fury having so many big fights under his belt, he just looks much more relaxed.
Well, he's starting to measure him a little bit now, Ken.
Yep.
And again, that's the IQ of Fury. There's different ways to use your size. You can use it by going in and going to the guy, obviously, leaning on the guy, bringing that size to the guy, or you could use it on the outside, where you use your length and your height. And right now, Fury is using his length to try to measure Wallin and try to set some traps where he'll step back a little bit and try to walk him into something. And that's what he's looking to do.
Yeah, he's definitely a crafty big guy.
And that's his IQ. That's his temperament. You are what you are.
You can see him clowning, holding on to the ropes, doing anything to kind of upset the rhythm of Wallin. Who's bleeding?
Somebody's bleeding.
Is that the back of the head of Wallin looks like blood coming out behind his ear. Maybe headbutt. Yeah, see that?
Who'd you like that round?
I'm giving that one to Fury.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fury. I'm gonna break the ice, and I'm gonna make it 2-1. The third round just ended. I'm gonna give it to Fury.
Oh,
and
big cut.
He's got a big cut over his right eye. The cut man's gonna have to do his job right now. And there's 2 ways to use your size: go in after the guy or be on the outside. Fury's using his size on the outside to try to measure Wallin coming in.
That is a vicious cut. Wow.
Yeah,
that could change the fight.
Yeah, well, the cut man's gonna earn his dough right now.
And it came from a beautiful left hook. Wow.
Yeah, it was from a punch. A lot of times those cuts are from heads, but
that's as bad as you're gonna see a cut.
You would expect it from a punch. You know why? Because when a guy's 6'9" and the other guy's 6'5", chances are it's not from a head.
Yep.
Unless you're bending forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely was from a cut, and we'll see how Fury behaves.
Yeah, see if he picks up the intensity here.
Yeah, seeing his blood, but we know how he behaves. You overcome drug and alcohol addiction and suicidal thoughts and being dropped by the hardest puncher in boxing, and you get off the floor. Usually, you that's a pretty good indicator that he handles seeing blood.
I guess my point more is, does he pick up the urgency here and try to like get this? Is his corner telling him like this is a really bad cut? We don't have like 4 or 5 rounds.
I'm glad you brought that up, because let's get right to it. His corner is a guy named Ben Watson,
something like that.
Right?
Young kid, 26,
26-year-old kid, and you know he really doesn't have a background as a trainer. He's more of a soulmate.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's more of a soulmate. And listen, that's important for a kid like this, for a man like Fury, who's been to the places that he's been, the dark places he's been. But he is. He's almost like a psychological coach.
Fury said, you're not going to teach me anything more about boxing. I need someone who can handle me emotionally.
But now he might need to know something about boxing.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
What do you think? You see a cut on a guy like that. If you're in the corner, are you telling him, "Hey, this is a really bad cut. We may not have."
I don't want to zero in on a cut. If I'm in the other corner with the guy who caused the cut, I don't want to. I want to keep doing what we did and what we've been doing. You know, I don't want to start looking for home runs all of a sudden. I want to stand to the basics. And
if your man has the cut, what are you telling him? If you think it's bad enough that it could be a reason to stop the fight.
Well, I want to be the way it is. First of all, I still want to stick. I don't want to get desperate. You know, I don't want to get out of sync. If you have to, it's get to that place that would be the same place as being behind late in the fight.
Yeah,
where you need a knockout. Then you tell them the truth. Say, hey, we got to land a big punch here. But you got to give them a way to do it. Not just say land a big punch.
Yeah, that's
really?
a good point.
You know, how do you do it?
You can see Fury is pawing at the cut quite a bit. And
hey, what did I say before this? Go with the over? Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 4th round, 20 seconds left in the 4th round, 7.5 is the over.
You can see everyone who has that over under bet tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. And you're getting plus 150 back, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So
145 on the over.
I have to be honest. A few of my friends called, so what do you like? Or what do you think? I hate to say because it's gambling, you know, what the hell. But I said, I like the over.
Betting the over.
It's not done. There it is. That's the end of the 4th round.
End of the 4th. Who do you like?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm gonna give that round to Wallin. What do you think?
I see that.
I'm gonna give that 4th round to Wallin. I have my head 3-1, and Fury's cut. We're gonna see how good the cut man is now, and we're seeing the temperament of Fury. It's not, if he gets behind, he has a problem. You know why? He's not a seek and destroy missile. He's a boxer. The other guy right now is taking advantage of that by pressing the fight.
It's a very good point. They're working on that cut, but it's terrible. Right above the eye.
Did you like Wallin in the last round?
Yeah. I just wonder about these judges because I could see someone making a case for a couple of those rounds going to the house fighter. I mean, look at the Vaseline they have on that eye. There's no way the ref lets him come out with that much Vaseline.
Well, he did.
But he did.
He sure did. But see, that could work against you, too, because that
Gets
glove
in
could
the
get in the eye.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
So, you shouldn't really put it like that. It's not really doing the guy necessarily a favor. And again, I touched on it for the tweet before, but I'm gonna say it again. If he gets behind, he's again. If you're ahead, you can box and stay ahead. Mm-hmm. Kind of like in football, you play that defense that what do they call that? That prevent defense. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it prevents you from winning. But right, the guy goes right. The team goes down the field when they couldn't go down the field when you're playing normal defense. But if you're ahead, you can play it. When you're boxing, you can continue boxing with a lead. But if you're behind, that's not going to get you ahead. Mm-hmm. That's not going to catch you up. That's where you need to be able to create offense in a different way. Sometimes on the front end, sometimes in an aggressive way. And again, he's done it with certain opponents. But for me, and I said this before, Fury, that's not his temperament. Mm-hmm. That's not really what he's looking to do. His temperament is to box. So if he's behind, he might have a problem.
I like what Wallin's doing. He's fighting in spots. He's pressing the action, getting off.
Ben Davidson, that's the trainer. We just saw it up in the graphic.
But I like what Wallin's doing. He's fighting in spots, pressing the action, then he's recovering. And because, like you said, Fury's not the seek and destroy guy. Fury's not going after him when he lets off the gas. So Wallin seems to be conserving some petrol, as you'd say. And his gas tank seems to be pretty good. I mean, we're only into the 5th round, but he seems to be moving the same way he was in the 1st and 2nd. Again, obviously still very early, but... And
he made a stop in a gas station the first 3-4 rounds. You know where that gas station was? It wasn't Shell. It wasn't Citgo, any of those Mobile. It was called Confidence.
Yeah.
The gas station of Confidence. He believes now that he belongs in there. Yeah. He didn't know that going in.
Yeah.
Now he does.
Yep. Especially seeing that big cut's got to help him too, because he knows he probably knows exactly when he cut him with that big left. But one of the more technical heavyweight fights you're going to see, I think, at least in terms of trying to box, like you said, with Fury, he's trying to stay on his toes, bouncing a lot, feinting, like you say, boxing like a welterweight.
Yeah. Now he's trying to measure with that left hand, sort of like Ali used to do, get him to straighten up so you can hit him with the right hand.
Yep.
Who do you like this, huh?
Man, these rounds are close.
I tell you,
I'm torn on this one.
That was the end of
5.
End of 5 rounds. I'm going to make it an even round. But again, it's the temperament of Fury. He's David and Goliath's body. He's on the outside. He's looking to box. And Wallin is being the aggressor. And he's grabbing rounds by being aggressive and going to the body and just with the amount of punches he's throwing.
I'll tell you, if like you were saying, Fury trying to box and be slick, I feel like it's working against him because, like you said, Wallin is starting to gain confidence. It looks like the confidence is giving him a burst of, not necessarily a burst of energy, but I don't see any drop off in his output. Is a replay of that cut the punch that cut him.
Yeah.
Wallin's still landing some meaningful shots here and there.
Yeah, and he's pressing the fight.
Definitely aggressive.
You need honest, obviously, judges and competent judges because they're not all landing. Mm-hmm. So this is where you need good eyeballs.
Yep.
And there is, what did I say the last round? That he was starting to measure with that left hand, kind of stick it out there, hold him in place.
Holding on his forehead like Ali used to do.
Now, the referee shouldn't allow that.
Of course.
But that's exactly right. He's trying to hold him out there with the left, and then of course catch him with the right hand, kind of like T-ball.
Yeah.
Put that head like the ball right where you want it, and then hit it out of the park.
Yeah, and to Wallin's credit, he's not going to be bullied in there. He's giving it right back to him in between rounds. Fury early on was trying to intimidate him, and I like Wallin's temperament so far.
Yeah,
he definitely came to fight.
I like the over. 6 rounds.
Yeah.
1.5 to go.
It's funny to see a guy like Fury, that big bent over, kind of doing that like bobbing and weaving type style, and like.
Well, he's being forced to come out of character a little bit here.
Yes.
This is not his cup of tea. I know we saw him walk down Schwartz, but that was a guy that could be walked down.
Yes. I mean, I don't think there was really much to be taken from the Schwartz fight. To me, Schwartz was just there to get knocked out. He offered zero resistance. He was like a punching bag with arms.
Oh, the referee's bringing the doctor in, I believe.
Oh, boy.
He's bringing the doctor in. Look at this cut over the right eye. And see, being over it, it's running into it. And the cut man hasn't done a great job, to be quite frank.
Nope. I mean,
and it's obscuring his vision. See, here's the problem here. For the people watching home, they're going to hear this, of course, when we release this. But here's the problem. It was caused by a punch. And as long as the referee noted that, we don't know, we don't have the volume up, and I would assume he did because we saw it on the replay, was a punch. Noted as a punch. If this fight stopped, he loses. It's not like if it was
as he
stopped.
should.
But yeah, it's not like if it was stopped by a headbutt. If it was stopped by a lot of people might not realize that. Maybe, well, if it gets stopped, they'll go to the scorecards. No, they won't. They won't go to the scorecard. That's only if it's an accidental, from an accidental foul, like a headbutt. But if it's from a punch and you can't continue, guess what? You lose.
Tyson Fury's eyeball would have to be hanging out of his head for them to stop this fight with for a cut. It doesn't appear to be affecting him. I mean, it looks terrible, but I mean, I haven't seen any change in his. He's not getting hit with shots that he might not have gotten hit with if he wasn't cut. And there goes Wallin, gave him a face wash. You see that?
Yeah.
Wallin's not there to be punked. And Fury's looking at the ref, looking for help from the ref.
All right, so we're 6 in the books. Would you like that?
I got Wallin in that round.
Yeah. Fury is, again, against Schwartz, he could just walk him down. But his real temperament is to box. So he's trying to box, but now he's being forced to fight a firefight with a guy who's here to fight. Very tough to score that round, but I got it to Wallin again. I got Wallin ahead, winning that 6th round.
Watch the end here. Watch what Wallin does to him. I mean, this is like...
Yeah, that's a little dirty.
A little dirty, but almost like a veteran tactic of like, hey, I'm in your head now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're trying to get a little bit of an edge that way.
And Tyson Fury's been punking him all week. Tyson Fury's a clown.
But that is dirty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
100%.
And just so the fans know what we're describing, he took his glove and tried to scrape it across the cut. And Fury is... got a big glop of Vaseline quite frankly,
there's no way the referee should stop that.
The referee should stop that because it's detrimental to Fury. Because if that goes into Fury's eye, he can't see.
Well, now he just touched the glove
and he took it off
with his own glove, and then he's going to now punch the other guy in the eye with.
Yeah, well, they got to remove that from the glove. But to me, this is amateur hour.
Oh yeah,
in the corner with the cut man.
Yeah,
because a really good cut man. It's the coagulant. It's not the Vaseline. Mm-hmm. It's the coagulant and the anticoagulant, the medicine that you put in. It's either Avatine or it's adrenaline. Avatine is for the deeper cuts, and you got to put pressure. You got to put the Avatine, the adrenaline into the cup. You hold it so it has a chance to coagulate, to stop the bleeding. The Vaseline doesn't stop the bleeding. You put a coat of cold Vaseline over the medicine, over the cut afterwards, just to keep it in place.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're dependent on the Vaseline more than they are on the proper medicine.
Oh, for sure. I mean, literally had a half a jar of Vaseline hanging off his face. But like I said, I don't think that this fight's getting stopped on cuts unless the thing busts open another 5 inches. But I do think that Wallin is starting to pull ahead here. I mean, he looked confident. That face wash move, although it was dirty.
I have my head. I mean, I've had him ahead throughout a lot of this fight, to be quite frank.
Can you imagine the reaction at ESPN headquarters?
Imagine Wallin and Ruiz, 2 heavyweight champs of the world. Think about that. Think about the odds on that parlay.
Yeah. The consummate odds, consummate handicapper.
Oh, man. And now, I said earlier, 2 ways you can use your size. One is to be on the outside, use your reach, use your length. But right now, he being Fury, is using his bulk to come forward. He's using his size to impose his physicality on the smaller Wallin, and he's starting to do that a little bit.
He landed a big right hand right down the middle on Wallin. Wallin, I got to say, I'm impressed with his beard. He's taken some big shots and doesn't seem to be even remotely affected. I mean, he's backing up. You can tell he's getting hit, but, I mean, some of these shots are big.
Well, he's shown a beard, a chin, a steady set of whiskers. I'm looking for the uppercut and as I say it, he throws it, he misses it from Fury.
Yeah, he's having some good moments, though, here. I think Fury's taking it to him this round. But Wallin is, incredibly game. He's right there. Man, another big shot.
His game, he's in good shape.
It's just, if Wallin's coming back with some shots of his own, and Fury's face is just a bloody mess. Be interesting to see what kind of gas tank Fury has as we get into the later rounds here. Wallin almost waving him in. This is an entertaining round. These guys are really getting into it. Fury leaning on him in between rounds.
Well, that's the end of the 7th round. I give that round to Fury.
Yep.
Fury was reminded of why he was named Tyson. You better behave like him right now, because on my card, and maybe on the people in the corner telling them the same thing, you're behind. You better act like Tyson. You better come forward. He came forward. He grabbed the 7th round.
This fight is already a lot more entertaining than I had anticipated.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Oh, Fury with a vicious low blow right there. As they're showing the replay, they're showing some of the body work Fury did. He landed some really good body shots. My God, the Vaseline on the eye is just incredible.
It really is. I don't want to knock anybody, but you have to state sometimes the facts. And what they're doing in that corner with the Vaseline is absurd. I mean, get the anticoagulants or the coagulants. Get the coagulants in place. Get it into the cut. You're either using adrenaline or you're using Avatine or thrombin. Those are the medicines you use.
Mean, look,
and instead, they're
we just letting him go out again like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, it's either going to go into Fury's eye and blind him, or it's going to fly in. Oh, it just fell off. It just fell off. A glob of Vaseline
is now on the ring.
Is now on the ring where you could slip on the ring and something crazy could happen there. How do they have it? 60. They got Fury ahead. Wow.
Fury ahead by 3.
I don't have Fury ahead.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that. I mean, I think you can make a case for a pretty even fight, but to have Fury ahead by 3 rounds, I don't think so. But there's a lot of executives praying for Fury to win this fight. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But again, super entertaining heavyweight fight. At least one that wasn't expected.
He's given up his height now.
Yep.
And he's just, again, trying to use his mass. Mm-hmm. Just trying to use his mass and, impose himself physically.
He keeps bending over at the waist with his head down. I mean,
which is not a good move for a guy 6'9".
Nope.
Because you want to make it difficult. You want to use that God-given advantage of that kind of physical asset to your advantage, and now you're giving it up. You're shrinking yourself.
Yep.
I mean, that's what he's doing. You brought it up, and it's true. He's bending forward. You don't need a guy 6'9" bending forward.
And he's doing it right in front. There he goes again.
I mean, you need Joe Frazier bending and bobbing, but you don't need Tyson Fury going into that kind of style, and he is, by bobbing and going low, because, again, you're bringing yourself down to a place where the shorter guy couldn't find you until you do that.
Mm-hmm. And we've officially gone over here.
But it's the big shots now versus the quantity from Wallin.
Yep.
Look at him. He's
doing some nice work here. I don't understand the strategy of Fury to put his head down and bob it and bend at the waist and bob and weave in front of him.
What I think he's trying to do is just get in close and come up from an unpredictable angle with a big punch. He's showing a little desperation.
I gotta believe
in his mind.
I gotta believe Joey Camacho is gonna tell him, look for the uppercut when he's doing that. And Fury's landing some meaningful shots here.
Got 10 seconds here.
And his face is a mess. He's uncorking some big power punches there. Just missed. There he goes again, trying to measure him with the hand on the forehead.
The eighth round just landed. I give another round to Fury. The big man is landing the big punches. He's doing what a lot of people want a 6'9" guy do, and it's kind of conflictive. He's throwing the big punches. He's being aggressive. He's using his size, but he's shrinking himself to do it. He's getting smaller with the smaller guy to land the big punches. But Fury wins that round.
I give Fury a ton of credit. I mean, the guy has so much heart. I mean, we already knew that from everything he's been through, including the fight with Wilder, but he's really picking up the pace here and starting to take it to Wallin. So I'll be curious to see how what adjustments are made in the last three or four rounds here. But again, credit to Wallin. He has taken some big shots and keeps coming forward. And Fury's back out there again with half a jar of Vaseline on his eye.
I just added up my scorecard, Ken.
Yeah.
And I do have one even round.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the rounds were difficult.
Very.
But I have it a 1-point fight right now with Wallin ahead by 1 point going into the ninth.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it's not what ESPN has. But, it's what I have. And it could be off a little bit because those things happen.
Yep.
But now you've seen the temperament of Fury. He got some rounds under his belt by being just not exactly what his temperament is, becoming Joe Frazier, having to go forward, bobbing and weaving and looking to catch up in his mind and land something big, and he did it. He got himself where he wanted. But then he went right back to that jab in the outside game again, because that is really where he's comfortable. But there he's leaning forward again.
I'm really impressed with Wallin. I mean, he's boxing really well. Again, he's getting caught with some shots, but he's moving well. He's trying. He's working. And I think a lot of people were expecting him to get blasted right out of there, but at least we were correct in saying he brought a lot more to the table than Schwartz did.
Oh yeah. Well, we said that though way ahead of time.
And one of the things that I mentioned when you stepped out for a few seconds at the beginning of the first is that while Wallin doesn't have a huge body of work and not a lot to be seen on him, that doesn't mean he doesn't have some skills, and it'd be interesting to see how he adjusts in this huge step up in competition. And I think he's shown himself really well. He's already probably surprised most people for what they expected.
Definitely. He got a warning there, Wallin did, for holding behind the neck of Fury and punching while he was holding. But that tells you the kind of fight that it is, that he could hold a guy 6'9" behind the neck. It speaks to what you're saying, that Fury is, giving up his height.
Yep.
You can't grab a guy 6'9" behind the neck unless he's giving up his height.
I can tell you one thing. Fury's lucky that this guy's not a huge puncher, because when he keeps putting his head down there like that, Wallin's hitting him with some shots, but nothing devastating.
No, Wallin's got heart. He's conditioned. He's busy enough, but he's not a puncher.
Yeah. And I think his record, he's only got like...
Well, he should have 1 million knockouts against the opposition he fought.
Nah, well, that's the point. He's 20-0. He only has 13 knockouts.
Well, it tells you right there.
Yeah.
Because the guys he's fighting, he should have more knockouts than he has fights.
Which is probably one of the big factors in the under being such a heavily favored bet.
Well, it's over, by the way.
Yeah. Well over.
So we got that one right at least. You know. And I'm gonna give that round to Fury.
Yep.
I'm gonna go. That's the 9th round. For me, that's 3 rounds in a row for Fury, and pressing the action, giving up his height, 6'9". He's been fighting half of this fight at about 5'11". By shrinking himself, but doing it because he had to get close to land something big because he was having trouble.
If you notice, Fury's not just putting his head down, but he's coming in and leading the way with his head, almost splitting the guard of Wallin with his head and then throwing the uppercut right between the arms. See, here he goes again on the replay. Leaning in with the head, and uppercut comes up the middle.
I have to fight even.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that after 9 rounds that you'd have an even fight, at least on anybody's scorecard?
No one. But again, credit to Wallin. He's brought a lot more to the whole big uppercut by Fury. Oh, looks like he might have him staggered here. Wallin back against the ropes, and Fury is unloading on him. Wallin better do something. And again, Wallin can take a shot. Wow. He absorbed some huge punches in that exchange. Fury looks like he's just lining him up. When he throws, he's unloading.
Yeah, but the main thing here is Fury never thought he'd be in this kind of fight.
Yep.
Where he's bloodied, where he's in the 10th round, where he has to be pushing himself and pushing the fight to be sure that he's going to have the fight. He never thought he'd be in that position. Never.
Nope, but I don't think anyone's surprised to see him suck it up like this and the way
No.
he fought against Wilder. I mean, this is exactly what you would expect from him.
He's banging to the body now of the
Big
smaller
shots.
guy. You know, and there's the uppercut by Fury. And again, when you're the bigger man, one of the ways to impose that bigness is to go to the smaller man's body. And it took him a while to do it, but Fury here in the 10th round is starting to go to the smaller man's body a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to take complete control of this. I mean, he's leaning on Wallin on the ropes and really like drilling him to the body, uppercuts, hooks. And again, to Wallin's credit, he's game. He's coming off the ropes. He's still giving it all he's got. I think a lesser guy would have laid on the ropes and might have waited for the inevitable. Wallin he's going for it.
Yeah, well, he's been really pushed into a little bit of a survival position, Wallin.
Yeah.
Where, you know, he's got the hands up. He's just trying not to get caught anything too clean and not 2 or 3 in a row. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get caught 2 or 3 in a row. You get caught one, you know, move your head so you don't get caught the follow-up.
Yep.
He's keeping his gloves up well, Wallin. You know, he's blocking a lot of those shots, but he's taking some in between.
Again, Wallin's still like boxing well when Fury's not busy. Wallin's doing everything he can, but it looks like it's becoming one-sided here.
Yep. Here we are.
And that's the end of...
My man, Chris. Well, end of 10 round, I give that round again. That's 4 or 5 rounds in a row. 4 rounds in a row, I give it to Fury. Fury spent the first part of the fight, what I think is his temperament, to box on the outside. But now he came back to be ahead in this fight by imposing his size into this fight. He's the bigger guy. He's winning the fight.
And now we head into the championship rounds here. And again, they're showing the replays. And, man, Wallin absorbed some big shots there. Well, regardless of the outcome, I think that it'd be hard to argue with anyone about the entertainment value of this fight. It's been incredibly entertaining.
It was a surprise.
Yeah. What's not been a surprise has been the heart shown by Fury, because first half of this fight, you could easily say that Wallin took the first half, but in the second half, it's been one-sided for Fury. And he's had to dig in deep. He's been cut above the eye. Bad enough for the doctor to be called in and look at it in the middle of a round. And it is a really bad cut. But Fury fights on, almost unfazed by the cut. And again, Wallin coming forward to start the 11th round. The guy is really game. Joey Gamache's done a great job getting him ready.
Yeah, he did. And we said that before,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, but you got to say this stuff early. And Gamache has been a big part of why Wallin has surprised people, and he's still there in the 11th.
Yeah, I mean, the way he's going here, I'd be surprised if we don't go to the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, that last round pulled on my card. Again, I'm sure they don't have it as close, but it pulled Fury ahead.
Yeah.
For me.
Fury caught him with some big shots there. It almost looked like the ropes kept him up from the angle I was looking at. But Wallin's definitely taken a beat in these last few rounds. And Fury just continues to come forward.
Yeah, but Fury won't be fighting anytime soon with that. The cut's going to need time to heal.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody did have any plans for a Wilder fighting anytime soon, that cut's going to take 5-6 months.
Oh, you think that long?
Yeah, because it's a deep cut. And, what you got to figure into it, Ken, when you're talking about how long it's going to take. It's going to take, it's got to heal underneath, not on top. It's got to heal underneath. So you got to make sure that the plastic surgeon, you get a plastic surgeon, he does a good job. He puts, stitches on the inside and on the outside. And he pulls them tight. And you got to give it 3 months to heal. And you want to maybe give it an extra month, so you give it 3-4 months to heal. And then you're still going to need time for the proper training.
Yeah.
Because you can't spar.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a special mask on there, but you really don't want any pressure on that. So if you're doing it right, you're not going to be able to spar, until you give it 3-4 months to heal. So you're going to need another month or 5 weeks at least of sparring.
Yeah.
So when you equate all that into it, it's going to be 5 months. It's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood.
And at the end
Maybe
of
more.
close out the 11th here, Fury is just putting it on him badly. And now he's in his ear. Man, credit to both guys. This is
5 rounds in a row for Fury. And again, the Gypsy King, he just decided to be the bigger man on the inside. Take his physicality and push it. And what the real storyline is, he was forced to do that. That's the storyline. He was forced to do that. Credit to Wallin for that.
I mean, both guys have shown.
And that is the storyline.
Yeah.
That this guy who, likes to box, likes to show, likes to do a little bit of alley type stuff every once in a while, had to become Joe Frazier. Really? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
For all his antics outside of the ring, Fury as a fighter, you gotta love this guy. He brings the heat every fight.
Yeah.
He's there. He gets off the canvas. He puts guys on the canvas.
2-point lead. Again, I'm sure that the official scorecards are probably not what mine are, but a 2-point lead for Fury.
Yeah. Curious to see how Fury handles this 12th round, because I'm sure he's aware that he's well ahead in this fight, or at least he thinks he does, but he's still coming forward and giving it. Not looking to just get out of the round and go to the scorecards. He's still bringing the heat. And Wallin's still absorbing bombs. Oh, Wallin answers back with a big left hook of his own.
Very game, Wallin. Still game. See, now where he was forced to go a little bit into a survival mode because of the pressure being put on him early, the last few rounds, Wallin was forced to go into a little bit of a survival mode. Now he's not surviving. He's looking to still find a way to win.
And I think that Fury is showing a total lack of respect for his punching power. He's got his head down, his hands down.
Not really a job by the cut man that would elicit you to hire him.
Nope.
No, really. I mean, we try to call it, either way, no matter what, we call it the way we see it. And not a great job by the cut man, really. Vaseline, by the way, people out there, doesn't stop bleeding. You put medicine, you put the coagulants, the medication into the cut, you put pressure on it, you hold it as long as you can, and then cold Vaseline over it to keep it in place. Not Vaseline to do the job. And for the most part, we don't see any evidence that they have the right medicines, whether it's adrenaline, whether it's thrombin or whether it's Avatine. I definitely haven't seen Avatine. Avatine is a powdery substance that looks like gauze. It looks like chopped up gauze. Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like. And that's what you use for the deeper cuts, and that was not used here tonight, obviously.
Man, Wallin is showing himself well in this 12th round. I've got him ahead so far. I mean, he's bringing the fight.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The only problem is he can't seem to affect Fury so much so that Fury's got his head down. Then when he's standing straight up, his hands are down and just absorbing the shots.
See, this is where you made a good point earlier, Ken, with Fury giving up his 6'9" frame and leaning forward. This is where Wallin should be looking for an uppercut.
Yep.
And he really hasn't looked for that punch. And that's where he's maybe missed the boat, a little bit, although he's done himself proud.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't think this is a person in the world that was expecting this type of performance from either guy. Excellent fight. Really entertaining fight. And we go to the judges' scorecards.
Believe it or not, I got it tight. I got Fury winning. The fight just ended. Wallin won the last round, showed a lot of heart, resiliency. Who would have thought that the guy who fights like Ali, who plays all the theater like Ali, would have had to become Joe Frazier to win the fight? But that's what I think Fury had to do. He won the fight, but he had to go get it. He had to earn it.
And much credit to Fury because he did everything he had to do. Again, there's a lot of things to like about this guy as a boxer. Man, look at the size of that cut. It looks like he's got a small cut underneath the eyebrow.
Now you see what I'm saying, where it's going to be 4 or 5 months. Easy.
It looks like he's got a cut under his eyebrow. The huge one is above and along the eyebrow. And I think he's got a cut under his left eye as well. How wide do you think they'll have it here for Fury?
Well, I mean, I have it a 1-point fight. Okay, let's make it 2. Let's make it 3. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go crazy. Make it 3. I can't see it more than 3-4 points. But, I had a couple close rounds. So you make it 3 points for Fury. But I'm going to stick to what I have. I mean, I have it, let's see, 115. Let's see. Well, I have a 115, 114. I know that's going to drive people crazy for Fury. My friends across the pond, our friends across the pond, I got you. 1 point, 10 points. What difference does it make, right?
By the way, Tyson Fury's taking his shorts off. He just took his boxing trunks off.
I hope he has something on.
He has on like boxer briefs underneath.
All right.
Let me click on the volume just so we can hear the scorecards.
He doesn't need to do that to show us that he has, you know what, because he showed that already in his performance. Oh, they got it big. I don't have it that big. Yeah, it shouldn't have been that big.
Huge.
It shouldn't have been that big. But then again, sometimes in these fights, the scorecards could be made maybe before the guys get in the ring.
I'm pretty sure that was the case.
To a certain extent.
There is a lot of money to be lost if Tyson Fury loses this decision.
What did I heard two of the scores. What was the other one, the first one?
I didn't get the volume in on time.
Yeah. I heard 117, 118, right?
Yep.
But again, I have a 115, 114. You want to make it, that's 1 point. You want to make it 2. You want to make it 3. You want to make it 4. All right, go ahead. But they made it like 8 points. So 7, 8 points. For me, that's too much.
Yeah. And again, huge credit to Wallin. I don't think anyone expected that performance from other than maybe him and Joey Gamache, but he showed himself really well, and I think you'll see him again in some big heavyweight fights.
He acted like he thought he won, so we're not listening to the interview right now, but I would assume that that's what he's saying.
Be interesting to see where he goes from here.
Oh, look at that cut! Wow,
that is vicious. You see the cut. You see the cut underneath is horrible as well. It's just overshadowed by it.
So he's had action, like I said. I said 4 or 5 months, probably close, and I said initially 6 months. So somewhere in that neighborhood.
The problem for Wallin is I don't think anyone's going to be afraid to get in there with him because he didn't show much punching power and he doesn't have a lot of knockouts even against the lesser opponents he's been fighting in Sweden or Europe, wherever he's been fighting. And like you always say, boxers, punchers are born, not made.
Of course, but sometimes you can lose and win.
Mm-hmm.
And his stock went up by losing. I mean, went incredibly high tonight. Wallin's stock by losing because he lost competitively to what a lot of people think is the best heavyweight in the world.
Yeah. Yep. And then, like I said, I think if he had some more punching power, we might have seen a slightly different. I love that they have him a WBC belt in there.
Yeah. I don't know what belt that is.
That's the Mayan belt.
Green. I mean, I give up trying to understand. I mean, I know down in Canal Street in Manhattan, they have a lot of belts that you can get, all kinds.
They got him in a WBC hat. They've got him with the WBC Mayan belt, whatever the hell that is.
There's a snake on the belt.
Yeah.
It's
like a snake, like a Mayan motif.
Oh,
they've got like this Mexican Mayan
there used
design.
to be a fighter, Alfredo Escalera, back in the 80s, I guess it was, 70s, 80s. He was a world champion. He fought Arguello in an unbelievable fight in the Garden. His name was Escalera. Mm-hmm. And he came into the ring with a real snake around his neck.
Jake the Snake Roberts, the wrestler.
Maybe Fury should think about that. He came in with like a boa constrictor, like a python around his neck. Really?
It's like wrestling style.
Alfredo Escalera. Yeah.
Let's see what Fury is screaming about here. He's doing his best promoter's job, but again, credit to Fury. He always brings the entertainment. He always brings heart, and I think both guys showed themselves well. And he's screaming and yelling for Wilder.
Is that what he was just saying?
Yeah, I think after watching that performance, everyone.
Well, again, that cut is really.
It's
brutal. It's gruesome.
Yeah, it's gruesome. Yeah. I mean, it's wide.
I mean, it's like he has another eye.
That's exactly what it looks like.
like.
And you see, he's got a small cut under. It looks like he's got a small cut under his left eye as well, or if not, it's just a terrible bruise.
Yeah.
either way, excellent fight. Shockingly good for what we expected.
Yeah.
I'm glad we stayed up.
But
to
we
watch
did
this.
call the over. Remember
That's
that,
right.
Ken?
That's right.
It was worth staying up, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got about 3 or 4 hours to sleep.
I
and I'm gonna
appreciate you
get
staying up. Good luck in that race. You got a big race.
Yep, half marathon in the morning.
Yeah. And you've been training. You've been training well for it. You always give your best.
Yeah.
You're in great shape. And good luck. It's a tough field. It's I mean, you got the pros in there.
Oh yeah.
You know,
My girl Des Linden running, the winner of the 2018 Boston Marathon, first American in 33 years to win it.
wow.
She was like second in 2011,
You're in there with special company.
to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, 3-time Olympian.
I know one thing, that you will put your best foot forward, literally, and feet forward, and you'll do us proud.
I'm going to try.
I know you will.
Well, listen, thanks for doing this. Appreciate your time as always. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. And again, please leave comments, share the link, let us know what you think. We love hearing the feedback. So thanks for being with us. We're out.